Alright, so a lot of people don't really know why you should render in 4K. They just think like it's kind of like a waste of time, but I'm gonna show you guys why you should render in 4K. So, I guess most of my audience are from Agario Edit, so shit, let me just find an Agario Edit. I don't know if a good one will come up if I just okay. We'll just look at this one in 4K. No, it isn't. We have to find one that's in 4K. Alright, I just found this one is in 4K. So, right now, let's just play in 1080p. I'm not going to play the entire edit because this isn't mine, this is Ryzen's, so I'm not really going to be that guy. I'm just using his edit as an example. If you want to check it out, links in the description. So, let's put this at full screen and just skip into parts. So right here, I'll upload this video at 4K by the way, so you guys can actually tell what I'm talking about. So right here, you can see this like weird like outline effect on these cells. You can see it here too, and look at like this virus. It's so like blurry, and all of these pellets are blurry here. Look at this face down here. Everything is blurry, and this is at 1080p. So now let's just bump it up to 4K. And for the record, I don't have a 4K monitor. And now you can see everything's cleaned up. It's a little bit blurry because of motion blur, but everything's cleaned up here. This cell is a lot better. There's no like weird blurry like outlines on the cells. And even at 1440p, it looks pretty good. So if you want to just render at 1440p, that's alright. But here you can see everything's cleaned up. Let's just go to like another part. Uh, it's mainly with like dark areas where it would happen. So, alright. So here's a clear part. This is at 1440p. Let me bump it down to 1080p. And oh yeah, here you could see. Look at like all of these pellets here. You could see all this weird red outline. It's like a really I don't even know why it's happening this badly here, but 1080p just looks terrible for these. Like you can see all of this. There's like a weird like outline of like blurriness on these cells. And here's 4K again. My internet sucks, so you guys would have to wait for a little bit. Alright, so now you can see. So you can see like this is so much more clear. Everything is cleared up here. Everything's clear up in this cell. All these pellets are easy to see. And it's just like displacement on these pellets. I guess that's what's making it look really bad. But like YouTube doesn't like dark areas. It'll make it like really blurry and like weird shit would happen. Just like these pellets. I'll bump it down to 1080 so you can see again. Anyways, let's just look at some other part in this edit. Uh, Alright, so look at this knife part. This is a pretty good example. This is probably something that's not very easy for a lot of you guys to see. Maybe I'll just try to find a way so you guys can see a lot easier because Sony Vegas and YouTube, like, if you render a video again or like repost a video, like some weird stuff happens and you can't really see everything. But you see like these giant blocks here. You see there's like a rectangle right here, another rectangle. This weird circle. This is not supposed to be here. This is all from the compression. If you turn up to 4K, all of these become a lot smaller and this sort of like red tinted background and becomes more prominent in the picture. And this is not really something that you can avoid. This is something that will happen because YouTube will compress your video, but rendering it at 4K will make it be a lot like better than what it would be at 1080p. I'll just do a COD edit just because why not? There are a lot more COD edits that are in 4K. So let me just is this in 4K? Let's see. Yeah, so this is in 4K and it's at 50 FPS, but the actual edit's obviously in 24. And this is also upscaling it to high frame rate does a lot more also. It's not as big of a difference. You don't really need to do this, but it make if you want like the absolute best quality, then what you'd want to do is render at 4K and then 50 or 48 FPS. 48's the lowest that you can go. It's a lot of good bit rate. 48 FPS at 4K. Have the actual edited 24 or 30, and that's basically what you could do. So let's just skip into this edit at some point. Just see here, because there's a lot of blood here. So just turn it down to 1080p. Here it's not as noticeable because this doesn't have many dark areas. But here you can slightly see, like look over at this box. You can see that there's a slight blurriness here. You can see on the player model too that the stuff here is not exactly like that clean. You can see at the edge of the fingers you're having the same weird outline. And if you turn it up to 4K, you can see that it's gone. This becomes a lot more clear. This is a lot more visible. That's not really a good example there because there aren't any dark areas. Let me just find an area that has some dark places. Alright, so this is like a semi dark place, so let's turn it down to 1080p, and here you can really see it. So look at like his hand here. Look at this entire area here. The table and basically everything. This is kind of how you can see how compression works. I guess if you want to completely avoid compression, you can make your edit bright, but like I don't know if it's worth to just like change your style just so your video would have good quality. I don't think it's that important. I mean, it's pretty important, but not like to the point where you should just change who you are because of it. But like, look at his thumb also. And now we change it back to 4K, and everything is cleaned up. Um, the table still doesn't look that good, but it looks way better than it did in 1080p. This is a lot more detailed. Here doesn't have like weird blurriness, and overall it just looks a lot better at 4K. So it's kind of like a lengthy explanation, but um, yeah, that's why you guys should render at 4K. So yeah, thanks for watching.